Ah, yes. Ah, yes, my friends. It has come time, hasn't it? It has come time once again, as it always does, to do the thing. So, let's get out there and handle it. Ooh, yeah. Balmy out here right now. It's, probably mid-80s. Mid-afternoon, mid-80s. On a Wednesday. Whew. It's good weather for... Oh, yeah. The wind is hot. The wind is hot today. It's good. Okay. Now that we've assessed the environment, let us begin running. Oh, yeah. Running. Do a bit of running. Just a bit of running. Here we go. We've already made it a few feet. We've already won, haven't we? Whew. Welcome, my friends. This is Ride Along with Run Man, episode 28. I'm your host, Run Man. It is nice to see you. It is nice to be among you. Nice to be around. Oh, how's your day going? Whew. Me, I'm wearing my jersey shorts, which it's time to get rid of these. I'm currently clamping them with like a clip so they don't fall down. So that's a nice thing to mind in public. Whew. It's time to get rid of these shorts, but I love them so much. Yes, but they don't function anymore. They have one job, gird the loins. Hey, you know, that's what we're doing right now. We're minding the basics. Locomotion. My body is in motion. The shade feels great. I'm thinking monkey thoughts today. I'm thinking chimpy thoughts. I've achieved media saturation. I took yesterday and I really indebted myself to the internet. Just all my YouTubers, all kinds of people, all kinds of content. I imbibed it like a little swimming sponge. And it was entertaining. It was a good time. It was a late night. And I drank. So today it's monkey thoughts. Everything is simultaneously far dimmer and far too bright. My body feels inflated, like I'm wearing another less functional skin over my own. Whew. Yeah, not the worst thing. I've definitely had worse. In fact, the fact that I can stand up and keep doing this, that's good. 'Cause I awoke, in a state, didn't I? Goodness. I woke up at a decent hour and uncharacteristically early evacuated the bowels for the first of 5 or 6 times. I mean, we've really been down in there. Whew. And that is why the monkey chimp thoughts. Because I have been attending to my basics. Whew. The meat and potatoes of the animal reality. The sweating, stinking, thinking, grasping, feeling. Me. That's where we're at right now. It's soupy. It's cathartic. It's hard to keep in the center of focus. That's being the monkey. My lungs are functioning. My throat is dry. I drank half a gallon of water. I got my customary 32 ounces of coffee. A little stronger than usual, I might add. I might have another one. We'll see. See if I don't caffeinate even more today. I don't know. Had some ramen. I treated myself recently and bought hot sauce for the first time in months. And it was good. Still is. I'm halfway through my Tabasco bottle. Man, does that Tabasco land softly and sexily upon the ramen noodles. Like a beautiful lounging woman on a sofa. Ah, delicious. Thank you, ramen. I also broke my fast on grocery stores for the time being. Bought a bunch of eggs, cashews, peanut butter filled pretzels. Whew, all good things. Some beans, some other stuff. Tonight might be a big old chili night, we'll see. I wouldn't mind the fiber. I'll be honest with you. Whew. At least that's what I say now. All right. The park. Always 2 or 3 degrees cooler. I was reading up on the temperatures and seasonal characteristics of Austin, Texas. I've been hearing a lot about Austin, so I thought, I never Google things. Everybody that I know is always Googling stuff. Both thumbs, eyes glued to the phone, all the time. They're just accumulating, they're just dredging and accumulating this knowledge like a whale to krill. Just scores of data. Meanwhile, I'm in the monkey mind, chimping around, digging in the dirt. But I was looking around, I was checking it out, and I was like, okay, well, 1 in 3 days in Austin is hotter than it is here right now in summer in California. I think it's around 85 right now here. Just giving you a read, a body read. I didn't look at any numbers. I don't have an app for that. I do have a weather forecast thing on my phone and on my computer. I never look at them. Never, ever. So I couldn't really tell you. It wouldn't surprise me if it was 90. But again, 1 in 3 days out of the year in Austin is 90 or above, apparently. So, that's good to know. Also, humidity levels apparently vary wildly in that town. It's also big, really big. I figured it was big. Texas, Shout out to Bob Hansler in West Texas, teaching us how to sharpen knives and raid the crawfish dens. Love it. Anyway, yeah, so it's warm and dry. I'll tell you one thing. My sinuses are open. That's good. I drank my sinuses closed last night. Whew. Or at least nearly so. I could still breathe, but it was like I had a cold. Not that I minded at the time. I have, after all, a mouth hole with which I can accordion the air. Yeah. And now that we're running, and now that we're actually moving the moisture around the body, I have to say, I'm quite happy with how well this is working. Oh my God, I just saw myself in the window of the police station. My running looks hilarious. Oh my God. Whew, that's rough. Oh, what are you gonna do? Keep climbing. Like in the Pucifer song, Trekka.
Yellow lights are flashing.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Signs are even more of what they are when they are multimedia experiences. That sign just identified itself as a sign while flashing lights and also being yellow. That's a good old crosswalk. Actually, that's a rough crosswalk back there. It's never clear, you know? Wow. Did I ever tell you guys that I have a weird relationship with tree lines? As long as we're on monkey matters, I've climbed a fair few in my day. There's something about the eucalyptus tree lines in this part of this neck of the woods, this nape of the neck of California. Something about it. Whenever I see long hedges that seem to go away endlessly into the distance, or these eucalyptus lines, or these road abutting frontages of tall trees, my mind is filled with distant, far-off senses. Space and openness and possibility. My mind is filled with geometry. And fluorescing, treading, wake-leaving ideas and graphics. There's something very spiritual in that feeling, in those moments. And all I gotta do is look at a tree line, which is different than a stand of trees, different than a grove. Unbelievable. So you just can't throw a stone where I'm from without it colliding with something truly indescribably beautiful. Only are my heavy-lidded eyes open. I don't know. Right now they are. That was a part of yesterday's celebration. I spent so much of yesterday and the day before soaking feelings of satiety and safety before the drinking. And during, but certainly before. It was really something. Now, I have an idea to take a right here. Just because I haven't done this in a while. And we're moving. Sudden incline. Them hills. With the tree line, it's kind of the same as being immersed in nature of any kind. I'll bet I could jump into the ocean, feel the same way. I've had an arc when it comes to that sense of wonder. For quite some time, I was in danger of malignant cynicism overtaking my shock and awe. Two of my best and closest friends out on the journey. Shock and awe. Shocking how awesome the world is. Yet, when as a kid, you poke around under rocks and look in caves and climb trees, find hidden places, and are filled with that sense that special certain something is there. Later in life, particularly depending on where you live, I think many of us have had this experience to some degree. You look around and you think to yourself, man, yeah, beautiful, sure, in its way, but this hidden spot that I just found, I can tell by the graffiti, by the dog leavings, by the chemical smells, and after a certain point, by instinct, this place has been discovered and entrained in the wake of somebody else's experience who perhaps wasn't feeling as mystically inclined as me. For a while, that seemed to ruin the experience. I thought that all these great places, all these little ravines and nooks and crannies in the cities, on college campuses, in the trees, in the hills, in the caves, the rivers, they felt so special, and then they didn't feel so special. And then maybe I couldn't even tell you exactly when it happened or what did it, but we've begun reclaiming that sense, remembering it. Those tree lines. Whew. Soles are wearing a little thin on these shoes. I'm getting a lot of pointy hellos from the rocks. People's presence does not make places less magical, as a rule. I thought it was a rule for a while, but I think that was just a projection of my feelings on humanity at the time, which have been changing. Relaxing, I want to say. As my monkey brain slowly relaxes. It's okay not to be the biggest, the strongest, the smartest, the coolest among the branches. It's okay. It's okay that the best things happen to the worst people on the surface of things, where my physical eyes can see. And the reverse being true is okay as well. Worst things happening to best people on the surface, in the endeavor of the endless growth of spirit and the enrichment of the consciousness, or whatever this thing is that we're doing. It wouldn't be the same journey if anything wasn't on the table, including being born with characteristics that if you looked at them surgically, incisively, with only one half of your brain, you might notice, oh, this specimen can be compared to other specimens, can't it? Look at the quality of the sweat pores and the muscle tone and the development across time and the personality aberrations. Look at the patterns. We've done a lot of that, haven't we? You and I. But it's just okay. We can always do something about it. Even if it's just aligning ourselves to face reality that we can or cannot affect on the surface. I was tempted just now to say how you meet the physical is itself something metaphysical. I wonder if that makes sense. I didn't have time to think about it before I considered blurting it out. You tell me. Ooh. It's been so windy recently that now that the wind is dead completely, this feels very strange. Twilight was another time. There's tree lines, and then there was like that time when all the purples came out of the sunset. Things went from red to like all these dusky, earthy, brown, purple, gray, blue tones. Special times of day, traffic starts dying down a little bit. I've run many times into and through the twilight or the dusk. And let's not forget that I'm not proficient on my terminology when it comes to times of day. What is dawn? What is dusk? Exactly. Is it a function of the angle of the sun or just light levels? Both? You can Google it anytime. That's one thing that I have Googled. When is dawn tomorrow? Many times I've Googled that. But what does it mean? Twilight was a magical time. Dusky, witchy time. Very good stuff. Time check. Oh boy. Well, we have some options. Should I take the right? Nah. We'll go this way. Not terribly familiar with where I am right now. I've walked around here once or twice. Maybe run once. No biggie. Morale is high. Expectations are right where you think they might be. As is typical, I didn't walk out the door with any sense of where I wanted to go. I found myself searching. I found myself searching for topics. And then I found myself not worrying about it so much. And simply knowing either something comes or it doesn't. You can meet the muse halfway, but you can't make it all the way across the divide. Oh, maybe I was wrong about this trail, this track, because we appear to be in a cul-de-sac. I thought this road was through. Well, that's a bit off the beaten path, isn't it? Actually, this is literally a path that has been beaten. Looks to be by machines. And weathering, of course. Let's see. Let's just see what happens over here. What a mundane place to find Sasquatch. Please, Sass, do not come upon me. You're better than this. There was a book called People Papers we had growing up. Fantastic, eerie, upsetting, and inspiring artwork. Accompanied some interesting some interesting stories. It was an anthology, I guess. Do the stories in an anthology have to be related for it to be considered an anthology? This was a collection of seemingly unrelated stories, one of which was just one page. The image that accompanied the story was a man in a suit with no head but a moon for his face. I think that's what it was. And he had some kind of a hat on. Oh, I know where I am. Son of a gun. Gun. Wow. Look at us. Smarter than us. Anyway, tromping through the woods like that. Through the minor woods, I'll say. Or an extended park, I guess you could call it. A loose park. Well, jump up on that curb. What was I saying? Oh yeah, it put me in the mind. That environment for a second just put me right back there in childhood reading that story. The story was this. One day Mr. Something or other was walking along in the forest. As the story goes, and nobody has any explanation for what happened. Mr. So-and-so, whatever his name was noted and seen departing into the forest. Promptly, he hung his hat on a tree branch that was at hand, and he vanished, never to be seen again. What the fuck? That was a good story. Whew. People Papers. That was a weird damn book. This is before Instagram and all that, you know, so people's senses weren't so deadened by saturation. One image on one picture, it wasn't even a story, more like a clipping or a heading that accompanied a picture. The picture was the thing to look at, and it was of a Santa Claus made entirely of fruit salad and shrimp, I want to say. And his eyes were grapes, if I remember, and his lips were shrimp, if I remember. And the art was just so well done. It's like a mosaic, you know? You can focus on any or all the things. The whole picture, pan back, scoot right in there. That's a detailed shrimp. Golly. You tap one memory, and the neighborhood rouses. We were just at a cul-de-sac, or what appeared to be a cul-de-sac. It's the same in my mind as it was when I stumbled on the houses and the trail just then. The Santa and the man who hung his hat. There was one story, and I don't, oh geez. Okay, let's see if I can't. Can I see? God, I can't see well enough to know if you're in focus. There's just too much light and the screen is not bright enough. Whew. I think we're in focus. I think we're okay. If not, this is less a visual experience than an integrated experience. You can watch for a little bit, you can listen for a little bit, you can have it on in the background, feel slightly more productive about whatever you're doing. Or not. There was one story in People Papers about a man aging. That's all. Sure, he was a colorful character. Just remember how strange that was. He was a man, and then he was an old man, and then he was a venerable man, and the last image that I remember from that story was him was the part of the story that came to... He was almost dead. He was shriveled up and old and long white beard, and the captions went something like, by this point in time, Mr. whatever his name is occupied himself primarily by reading himself scary ghost stories at night. He was very jovial and very happy. There might have been an image of like a tombstone too after that. I can't remember. I think his skin might have been a weird color too, like blue. People papers. I think one story was about a person in a bathtub in an elevator, like breaking a Guinness World Record for most elevation gained or lost while bathing, or something like that. Well, we can dwell, but we don't have to. Nothing else is coming to mind. From that book. And that's A-okay. We're relaxed, calm, focused, but in a loose way. Hands on the reins, but the deer know what to do. That's a good place to be. Is that the flow state? It feels right. It speaks the language I understand. Of material that can be used and subscribed to without resistance. And then here I am showing up to receive it. Like the Force, to receive and direct. What is the Force? Energy field, oh. Guides your actions. What do you mean it guides my actions? It tells me what to do, partially, but it also obeys your commands. Talk about a... Talk about a really badly paraphrased quote from Star Wars, which is what that was. I was also thinking, that's kind of how I would explain my own imagination